Hello friends, this is Dr. Erica with Rosie Research and welcome back to our Scratch tutorial series. If you are wanting to make a Mario game, this is the Scratch tutorial series for you, but make sure that this is our third one so you can check out our other two videos as you get all of your stuff set up. So if you are caught up on your Scratch tutorial, you can click see inside, and right now we've got this fun little Mario game where Mario can jump, can move right and left, and can jump not only in a sort of a direction, if he's moving in a direction, but straight up and down, which is nice. And we can we can die if we go into the bottom. If we don't make the jumps, we'll die. And we can also either die with the Goomba, or we can jump on the Goomba, which is kind of fun. So we can make that Goomba go away. Today we are going to add a question box that has a coin, and we'll add a coin counter with numbers that look a little bit better than the sort of jump 0, 1 that you might not want to see. So we'll make it look really cool. Alright, so let's get started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to upload a new sprite. So this should be sort of familiar at this point, but you're going to go down to this blue circle, you'll click upload. If you're a patron of ours, you will have this file with all of the goodies of the different things that you'll need in this program. And if you're not, you should come check us out at patreon.com/rosieresearch. We're going to upload a secondary costume for this sprite, so you don't want a new sprite that's over here on the right. We just want a costume, which is over on the left. And we'll upload the question block number 2. So before the question block has been hit, it looks like this with this big question, and after it looks like it's all grayed out. We're of course going to want to change our size on this question box. That's a little bit big, and we are going to put it at a size 10, and that puts it right there for us, and we can now drag it wherever we want that little guy to be. Alright, so let's add some code to this question block. So we'll go over into the code tab, and you can see that we are still working on this sprite of the question block. So the first thing is that when we start our game, we're going to want to make sure that we're always in the unhit question block costume. So we really want to change to just the question block every time we start, so that Mario can hit it and see what's inside. And we probably want it to go to a certain spot just to make sure that it's always in the right spot. And so we can use these numbers here, where we can alter it a little bit. It's sort of up to you where you want to put it at. I'm going to put mine at x is -116 and y is -81. Alright, so now we have this great question block. Oops. Nope, that is not where I wanted it to be. Let's see. Go to x is... Oh, I have 2 negatives here. There we go. There we are. So now I have this great question block, but nothing really happens when Mario hits it. So I need something to happen when Mario hits it. And what we can do is we can go over to Mario and we can program what will happen in Mario. Alright, so we'll have another one of these. This is all of our Mario stuff that we've done so far. We're going to do another event that when we start the game, forever we're going to check to see if Mario is touching that question block. Alright, so we want a wait until, and when he's touching it, then we'll do something. So touching is in sensing, so we're going to wait until we are touching the question block, and then we're going to say if, because if Mario just is like on top of the question block, we don't want the question block, we don't want this to be triggered. We want Mario to have to jump up, and sort of on his way up, we're going to have the question block get hit in this Scratch game. So what we want to do is, if his y velocity is positive, he's going up, then we're going to do something. So that would say that if the y velocity is greater than 0. So we can pull out a math operation, and we can pull out our y velocity variable for Mario, and we can say if our y velocity is greater than 0, then we will say that we're going to broadcast that he hit the question block. So I can just call this question block. So now the whole game knows, all these sprites in the game that I want them, if I want them to know, can know that this is happening. Alright, so now let's go back to our question block, And we can say when I receive question block. So when Mario has hit that question block, we're gonna switch our costume to question block 2 because I want it to look like it's dull now. And usually in the Mario game, the question block kind of goes up and down a little. So we can do that with our motion, and we can use a glide. And maybe it's gonna be a quick glide. So 0.1 maybe. And it's gonna glide to whatever X position it's at. And the Y position is gonna glide to its Y position plus a little bit going up, and its Y position minus a little bit going down. So maybe we just plus 10. And we can plug that in here. And then we need it to come back down. So we can right click and duplicate this block. And here we'll do plus minus 10, which is the same thing as minus 10. So now when I come over here and I hit it, the question block not only bumps up and down, but it also changes color, which is exactly what I want. Now we might want to have something inside our question block. It's kind of no fun if there's nothing in our question block. And this is going to be a question block. We'll make it where it just has some coins in it so that we can learn how to use counters. So then we need to make our coin sprite. So we're going to upload a sprite, and we will upload our coin. And that will come on in there. Of course, that is massive, and we're going to scale it down. I think a size 8 should work. We want it to sort of fit inside that box right there. So it'll kind of be hidden, and then when this comes out, it will ding up. And then we'll make a counter up here that will count for us. So let's set this up for us. We are going to need in our coin code, we're gonna use an event that says when we start the whole game, we're gonna make a variable that will count my coins. So we'll call this coins. And we're gonna always set the coins to 0 when we restart our game. We're gonna hide, because I don't want this coin to be visible when the game starts, right? It's inside of our question block. It should be hidden. And I also want to make sure that I go to a certain spot. So if for whatever reason it's in a weird spot, it will refix itself. That's always good practice in programming to make sure that even though it should never leave a spot, just double check that it's always going to start back where you think it is. So we'll put minus 81 and minus 76 there. And we can see now it's hidden. Nothing happens yet because we haven't told that coin to do anything. But we have this great thing that's broadcasting anytime that this question block is hit. So we can also do something for when this coin receives question block, because that's when I want it to show what it is. So at this point, we are going to give it a little bit of a wait. And the reason for that is that broadcast can take some time, and whatever we put down here on the code, I've noticed that if I don't have a little wait here, I get like a lot of coins all at once. So I just put in a really fast wait, and I want it to go backwards a layer. And that's because right now it's right smack on top of. If we showed it, it'd be right on top of this. And I want it to look like it's coming out from behind that. So we will go back one layer, which is in our looks. And that should put it behind that question block for us. We're going to show so that we can see our coin. And we want the coin to also sort of come up and go down, just like we did with our question block, and probably even a little bit more than what it did before. So we're going to use a glide again. And again, we'll start, our glide will be at our X position, and we'll add a little bit to our Y position. So you can grab out the addition operator, and we'll add to our Y position 35. We want it to go much higher than what that box does. And we don't want this to go too slow, so let's give this like a 0.15. Now these times are things that you can change if you want it to go faster or slower. And then we'll do the same thing to minus 35. And also if you think this is going way too high, you could change this to, let's say, 25 and minus 25. Or if you wanted to go higher, you could do that too. All right, so we can see what we have right now. Now I've got this coin. Ooh, I think it does need to go. We're gonna go 35 to minus 35. Just like that. And let's check out what it looks like now. There we go. And I can kind of see the top of this. And that's because it's sort of reset, but we've shown it. We need to hide it after we do all of this. So we're gonna come back here and we will hide the coin now. And we want to know that we got a coin. So we're gonna change our coin count by 1. And that will tell us that Mario has collected a coin. So we could come over here and we could jump and we can see our coins goes up with each time that we jump, which is great. All right, and now maybe I want it to play a sound when I do that. Sounds are really, really fun. And we can do that if we go over to sounds for the coin, and we will upload a sound. And in that file that we have, there's a bunch of sounds that we have. One of them is the Mario coin sound. You can make this louder or softer. I would make it softer, otherwise it's going to be really loud. So you can make it softer to what you think works really, really well for you. And now we're going to want to play it. Now if we play it in this question block, I can show you what will happen. It's going to wait. Or actually we could just start the sound. Let's start the sound. If you choose play the sound until done, it will wait and it will stop the whole program while it plays that sound. But we could do this. Oh, and that. There we go. Now we have this coin sound, which is great. It's a fun little addition. If you think the coin sound's too loud, you can always go over here to sounds and make it softer. Or if it's not loud enough, you can make it louder. All right, so now we want to count our coins. This is not very pretty. I don't really like this coin counter. It doesn't feel like Mario to me. So I don't want to use that. I'm going to actually move this down so we can check our programming as we go. I'm going to upload another little coin sprite, and this one's going to be like my counter. So this one's going to be small also. And what we'll do, let's change this size. Maybe the same size is just fine. I remember from when I played Mario, this little coin was sort of up in the corner and it would give you a count up here of how many coins you had collected so far. So when we start our game, we want to make sure that for whatever reason, maybe it's not showing, we want to make sure that it's showing, and we want to make sure that it is in that spot. So we want to make sure that it goes to minus 216 in X and 156 in Y. And I'm just reading that off of where it's at currently. All right. This piece isn't going to have any more code. We're going to put in some numbers. Now we could take some of this stuff away and just have it like with that orange 9, and we could move that up there, but I don't really want that. I want something that looks amazing. So we are going to show you how to do a custom score. And so we're going to insert all of these numbers that are in that file folder that you have on our Patreon. And what we're going to do is we'll pick number 0, and we can go to costumes, and then you're going to upload the other digits that we have. So 1 through 9, we will upload. And all these costumes now have a thing. You'll notice they're one off. They're always one higher than the number that's in the image. So 9 is in the image, 10 is the actual costume number, 0 is in the image, 1 is the actual costume number. And that's going to be very important in just a minute. So we are going to need to change the size of this, because that's a little bit too big. So let's go to size 10, and let's move it up here. Now I'm noticing that this is a little hard to see because it's white on white. So what we'll do is we'll go to our backdrops, and we can add in a fun background image. I'm going to add something that's sort of some clouds, and the way that I'm going to do that to get it in the back, because we didn't pre-plan this, we have a little background here. And I'm going to take this guy, make it a little bigger. We can copy paste it so that it comes over here. And I don't think I'm going to really want those these guys down here, so I'm gonna actually just make a box down here and we'll color that box the same color as the sky. All right, there we go. Oh, and it looks a little funny over here. Let's see what we can do about that. We can just add a new brick right there. All right, now we've lost our bottom stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come over here, oops, and I'll select my pointer and I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it into my background too, and I'm just gonna get rid of this one now. Oops. All right, so make sure you actually keep the paste in there. And now we've got this background that shows up a lot better on. All right, so now we're gonna work on this coin counter now that we can see it a little better. And I really like that this has a blue sky now. It's feeling a little less sort of blank for me. All right, so let's go back to our number 0. And in the code for this, so we wanna go up to our code, and now we've got to start making this a counter. So when this is clicked, we are going to forever check for some things. So you can bring out your forever loop, and we basically forever want to switch the costume, and we're going to switch it to whatever this coins is +1, because in our costumes, remember, if it's 0, if we've collected 0 coins, it's actually costume 1. This is costume number 2. So we can choose the costume number and we can switch it to that specific costume number. And we want to switch it to whatever this coin number is. And right now it'll actually only read the first digit. We'll talk about how to do that in a second to change that. But we are going to switch the costume to the, let's see, we want, down here we've got letter 1 of apple that you can pull out. We want to use letter 1 of the variable of coins. And we actually want to do it of that +1. So we need another operator that will add our 1 in. So we're going to add 1 to whatever that is. We're going to put that in here. And we can see how this is working for us as we go. You'll notice that this changes its costume, so it changes to the number 1 after I've collected a coin. And so this is tracking great. Now we're going to run into a problem right now. Because I don't have 1 coin, I have 10 coins. So if we want 2 digits, we need to add in another set of numbers. So you can come and upload another set of numbers. We'll go into the costumes of this new set that we have, and we will upload all of the other digits. You want to make sure you upload them in order. That's really important, so that you have your digits that match, always 1 off. I believe we did the size of 10. So let's put it at size 10. And we're going to make this one be the second digit. So we'll put this. This will allow us to count up to 99 without a problem. Let's see. And we're going to have to change a little bit of the code for the number 1, aren't we? Because we told it to go to a certain spot, I think. And that spot's going to change a little bit. There we go. All right, so we can look at our code from before here. Oh, we didn't actually set it to there yet. So that's okay. We can just drag and drop those. All right, so now I can copy this code and we can, oops, I don't know if I can, I'm going to control copy this code. We should be able to bring it over here for us. There we go. And now you're going to say, Dr. Erica, they're going to just read the same numbers all of the time. And you're right. They're both now going to read always the same number. So what we need to do is we need to start thinking about, well, for this one, which is the second digit, it's only going to read that if there's 2 digits here. So if coins is less than 10, so now we need an if statement. and we're probably gonna have to do a couple of knowing ahead of time what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna use an if and else statement. And I'm gonna say that if my coins is less than 10, so you can pull out this less than operator, go to your variables and take your coins. And if our coins is less than 10, then I'm going to be at costume 0. Right? I'm going to be at number 0 because this one should be a 0 if we're underneath 10. Otherwise, I want to switch my costume to letter 1 of coins plus 1. And that gives me that little piece. So we can come in here and we can take a look at what this looks like now. And we can count up. And you'll notice though that now they both again are reading the same first digit. And that's because over in this number 0, which I'm gonna change the sprite name of this to the 1s. And I'll change this sprite name to the 10s so that we don't get confused. So our 1s right now is always reading this first digit. And that's not what we want. Now we want it to read the second digit. But if there's only one digit, we do want it to read the first digit. So we actually need to make a little bit of changes there as well. So we're gonna do the same type of thing we did before. We'll have an if and else statement. And again, if the coins is less than 10, so you can go to your variables, grab your coins. If that's less than 10, then we are gonna switch it to letter 1 of the coins, which is the first thing that we see. Here it's a 1, because the 1 comes before the 3. But if it's bigger than 10, then I need to do something different, right? Now, if you wanted to go into the hundreds, you could add another if else here, and we would do the same type of thing. So we'd have if coins is less than 100, and so we'll go to coins. Then I'm going to, I can duplicate this, I'm going to switch it to letter 2. Oops, letter 2 of the coins, because right now it's letter 2. And else, that kind of means I'm below 1,000. So I could duplicate this, and I'm going to look at letter 3. And that's if I decide to put hundreds in there. We don't actually need this right now. But this forces it to read the proper digit, always the 1s digit, even after you're sort of getting more visual digits in the coins. We'll put that in our forever loop like that, and now we can see how it's counting for us. So there's 10 like we got before, and now it's counting the 1s because it's in this part of the loop. And these guys will now count all the way up to 99 properly. This one will count to 100 properly, and we can add a little bit to here to make this one count to 100 properly also. But that's a lot of coins and jumping that you would be doing there. So what's left in this tutorial is to just do a little bit of cleanup and make it a little bit more sparkly. First thing we're going to do is we are going to uncheck this coins box. Now that we know that these two are reading properly and we have our fun creative digits that are changing right, we can uncheck that to make that part go away. Now I have this great sound for the coin as we go. We can add a fun sound for the Goomba if we'd like. We can also, we've added the sounds from Mario Dies. We've added this background sound that we don't play all the time because it's a lot. So we can go over to Goomba and we can play a sound when our Goomba gets smushed versus when our Goomba kills us. That's pretty easy to do. So over in your Goomba, you're going to go to sounds. We can upload a sound. Again, if you follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/rosieresearch, you'll have the file with all of these things, which makes it easier. You'll choose the stomp sound, and you probably want to make this a little softer, like that. And in our code, when we receive Goomba kill, that means we just smushed it. We can start that sound of the stomp. And we can put this all together to play with the sounds and the coin tracker. Let's see what it looks like. And that is pretty amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on this tutorial of making a Mario game. We might be making some more. If you want to learn how to add extra levels and whatnot, make sure you comment on our YouTube channel if you want to learn more Scratch tutorials from us. And also make sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/rosieresearch. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great one.